guys? Glock Guy 226 here, and as you can see laid out in front of us, we have a bunch of the top rated weapons lights on the market these days. So these are primarily pistol lights. I have ran some on rifles. You can do whatever you want with them, but they're primarily pistol lights, guys, and these are some of the most popular lights on the market. Now, I have a lot of experience with each one of these lights, and I thought it was time to do not only a little comparison of each of these lights, but give you guys the rundown on what weapon light should you buy. So stick around, guys. I'm going to be doing some nighttime footage, showing you guys how these lights perform at night. And we're just going to get into each of these lights and, the cons, the pros, everything good and bad about these lights. So, to begin with, guys, let's go ahead and start off with the Surefire X300. Now, the two Surefire lights I have here, the X300 is mine. The XC1 is actually Mike from Tango Arms' personal light that he was cool enough to send out to me. So, big shout out to Mike at Tango Arms. Now, the X300, guys, this is the X300 Ultra, which is Surefire's newest X300 out. I believe the old X300s were 500 lumens. This model here is 600 lumens, and this is the UA model. They have a UA and a UB. The UA model here has a quick release type of mount versus a screw-on type of mount on the UB. So that really comes down to the shooter's preference on what kind of mounting system you want. But I really do like the quick detach. It's very, very positive when it's on there. Very easy to get off. So, a little bit about the X300 spec-wise, guys. These things roughly are in the $250, give or take a little bit margin. They run off two CR123 batteries, have an hour and a half run time. This particular light, like I mentioned, is 600 lumens. And guys, overall, the Surefire X300 kind of speaks for itself in the gun world. Now, if you're looking for the top, the best of the best lights, Surefire is known to have that, and I completely agree with that. You really can't deny that. Now, a few cons about this light, just to get into that real quick. The overall size of it. Not necessarily the bulk, but the overall length. And let me go ahead and get my Glock 19 out. I'm using that as kind of my demonstration gun tonight and show you guys that it is indeed empty. As you can see there, I do have a mag in it, which is also empty. So, let's throw this on the gun. And like I mentioned, guys, that quick release mount, you literally just set it on your rail, push down on the quick release, it snaps on there, and it's on there. It's not going anywhere. I've done a lot of shooting with it. If you guys, I don't know if you could tell, but it's gotten a little dirty. Not bad, though. I really do like this light. But the two things that, I kind of personally don't like, and I don't know if I'm just nitpicking now, but the overall length of this thing. So as you guys can see, it sticks out of the gun a pretty good ways. Now, if you want to go ahead and compare that to, say, like a TLR1 HL, you could pretty much see the difference there. I know it's not on the gun, guys, but you do get quite a bit more length, which, in my opinion, when it's in a holster, I carry a weapon light at all times when I everyday carry, and you really can't tell a whole lot of difference. Now, you would think this rig would be super uncomfortable, super noticeable. You have a light this big. But guys, it's really not bad if you get the right holster system. And Spider Concealment has done a great job with their light bearing holsters. That's what I've been personally running. So overall, I'm really happy with that. But the first con I would say is the overall length. It is just a big light. Now, the second thing that I'm kind of nitpicky about are the controls on this light. Now, it is a completely ambidextrous controls. These are the two buttons here and here. And you can push this side up, down, and the same over here. Now, this light does not have a momentary feature per se. You can just hold the button down just a little bit to get that momentary, but it is almost sticky. Now, what I mean by that is, say the controls on one of the Streamlight lights, which I love the controls. If you push them to the left, that is your momentary, as you can see, and if you click it to the right, that's constant on. Well, their controls are just really, really easy to manipulate. The controls on the X300 are very stiff. Now, that can be a good thing, I guess, so you don't, discharge your light or negligently discharge your light when you don't mean to. But at the same time, they just feel kind of sticky. I don't know. The Streamlight controls, in my opinion, are just overall better. They feel better. I like their momentary feature to the left, constant on to the right. So those are just a few things to be nitpicky. Overall, it's still a great light, super, super bright, and I will be rolling in some nighttime footage of each of these lights. But the Surefire X300, guys, is a great option. Like I said, if you want the best of the best, the Surefire X300 definitely will do that for you. Now, I'm pretty new to this light. A few reasons why I never went out and bought it. I always wanted one, but I never went out and bought it because I've always owned Streamlight products, and I've always thought, man, for the price of this or even the XC1, I could buy two TLR1 HLs. And guys, these are great lights, which I will get into here in a few minutes. So, moving on with the Surefire products, guys, let's take a quick look at the Surefire XC1. Now, guys, this little light has blown up in the concealed carry world, or the gun world in general, here ever since Surefire introduced it to the market. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this on my actual gun, and the mounting system of this light is one little flathead screw right there, if we could get it to focus in. You basically have a small flathead screw right there, which you basically tighten it on your gun. It's pretty self-explanatory, but you slide that on your rail until you feel it lock in, and you could feel it lock in. Just hold that down with your thumb, and you're just basically going to screw that in until it's tight. Now, the XC1, guys, and I can understand why it's so popular for carry. Look at that overall size. You're just not going to beat that overall size of the XC1. Now, they did a great job, and it's not really specifically with a lot of other guns, but on this Glock 19, guys, this light literally just fits it so perfectly. I don't have an XC1 light-bearing Glock 19 holster. I would like to get one. Like I mentioned, this light isn't mine, but I probably will end up with one in the future. Now, a few things about the XC1. They're roughly the same price as your X300s here. So in the $250 give or take price range. This light is 200 lumens, takes one AAA battery, and also has an hour-and-a-half runtime. Now, the controls on the XC1, in my opinion, are pretty decent. I do like the controls. There's an ambidextrous button, which is located right here, as well as the same place on the other side. And they also have a button here, which is kind of weird because it can only be deployed from the left side of the gun, which I guess you can hit it. You know, if you're left-handed, that's great. If not, your support hand can hit that, which gives it a constant on. So that button's right here, but the momentary buttons, you literally just push them downward, and you've got light on either side. So they have a great momentary feature on it, and 200 lumens, guys, it doesn't seem like a lot when you compare it to the big dogs here, you know, 800 lumens, 600 lumens, but 200 lumens will definitely get the job done. Most of the time I carry my Glock 43 with this Streamlight TLR6, which is 100 lumens, and I've never had to deploy my gun or anything, but it's enough in a self-defense situation to get the job done. So the XC1, guys, like I mentioned, very popular. You see it all over the place. I'm always getting questions on this XC1, and I would recommend it. It just really depends on what you're personally looking for in a light. More of a home defense situation, the XC1 is really going to shine because it's not going to light up the house so much that you're blinded. When I fire up the X300 or even the TLR1 HL, it is just so much light that you're almost initially blinded if you have white walls, anything like that. But I personally like really bright lights. If I'm going to spend my money like that, I want it to be on something pretty bright. So I don't personally own the XC1. I probably will end up with one just because its overall size, guys. The overall size is great. 200 lumens will get the job done. Overall, it is a really cool light. It runs off the one AAA, which you can't beat a light that runs off of a common battery like that. Like I mentioned, you're going to get an hour-and-a-half run time, which, guys, on a carry gun, that's going to last you a long time. Unless you do a heck of a lot of night shooting, that hour-and-a-half is going to last you quite a while. So I get out and do a little bit of night shooting here and there, but not a whole lot. You know, if I own this light, which I've had this light for a little over a month, I'd say, I have not had to change the battery. And I've been playing with them a lot, taking them out at night, putting them on different guns when I go to the range, stuff like that. And you're going to get quite a bit of life out of that, whether it's the AAA or the CR123. So let's jump over into the Streamlight products. And to start off with, we'll start off with Streamlight's highest offering when it comes to these pistol lights, and that is the TLR1 HL. Well, guys, the first thing I got to say about this light is just wow. I mean, for the price in the world of pistol lights, quality pistol lights, I guess you could say, the TLR1 HL, it just dominates in my opinion. It has everything. It's a tough light. It's a very bright light, and the price is just great. You're not going to beat the price of the TLR1 HL. And like I said, that I've always wanted an X300, which I have one now. But I always thought, man, I could buy 2 of these TLR1 HLs or 1 X300. So let's go ahead and throw that on the Glock here. And guys, this was my carry setup for a long time. I have now switched to the X300 when I carry my Glock 19. But this was my carry setup, home defense setup for the longest time. And this is a great setup. So overall specs on the TLR1 HL. These lights can be had for around 100 to 110 bucks, guys. And I got this one for $99 shipped. It was either like a Black Friday sale or something in that nature. But guys, the bang for the buck with these lights is outstanding. Streamlight has great customer service. If you ever have an issue, they will replace this light, no problem. And what I like about this light is, guys, I've used this light on rifles, pistols, shotguns, just about everything, and it is just a tough light. So this light runs off of 2 CR123 batteries, and this light actually has 2.5 hours of runtime, pushing 800 lumens. Now that is just pretty sick. Overall, you get an extra hour runtime out of the Streamlight TLR1 HL and an extra 200 lumens. Now when I roll in this nighttime footage, you guys will see that the lighting patterns are a lot different between Surefire and Streamlight, and I'm not the biggest nerd. I don't know a whole lot as far as, Candela and all that kind of stuff. I understand it, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to keep things simple. The overall spill of the Streamlights are they definitely spill a lot, which means the light floods out quite a bit compared to your Surefires. But the Surefires have that one hot spot with the spill. They're just a perfect blend of light, and I can see why they cost a little bit more. But guys, if you're looking for bang for your buck and still want a go-to-war type product, this Streamlight TLR1 HL is definitely the ticket. Now, when I went over the controls a little bit on this earlier, ambidextrous controls, if you push your Streamlight TLR1 HL button to the left, you're going to get momentary, or if you push it, twice quickly, you get a strobe feature. So that's kind of cool too. If you push it down to the right, you get a constant on feature. And guys, I do like the mounting systems of the Streamlights. I just wanted to go with something different on the Surefire as far as the quick detach. But you basically just unscrew this here. It has a spring push and it pops right off. So very simple to switch, amongst different guns, rifles, whatever. And like I mentioned, guys, I just can't say it enough. The bang for the buck with the Streamlight products is just through the roof. Now, the next Streamlight product we're going to look at is the TLR1 from Streamlight. Now, this is the first quality weapon light I ever bought. I actually got this thing used for like 75 bucks. It's been trucking. It's a quality light. It's just as tough as your TLR1 HL. It does everything. It just has a little bit less lumens, and some guys might not want 800 lumens. It just really depends what you need out of a light. So you can have these lights for brand new around 100 bucks as well. In my opinion, if I'm going to spend the money, you might as well get the TLR1 HL for the same price. But guys, I see these things used for decent prices all the time, so just keep an eye out for them. But this light here is 300 lumens, so it's pretty bright. It does put out a good amount of light, has a pretty good hot spot to it. The spill, like I mentioned, the spill on Streamlights are a little different than the Surefires. It's not as controlled, I guess you could say. But guys, this light is absolutely great. It has all the same features of the TLR1 HL as far as your controls. Now, this one does not have strobe. If you push it down to the left, it has your momentary. Or if you push it to the right, it is constant on. But it does not have the strobe feature, which, guys, how often are you going to use that? It's not really the most important thing, in my opinion. It does also run off of 2 CR123 batteries, and you are going to get 2.5 hours of runtime off of this light as well. So, jumping down to our last and final light, guys, the Streamlight TLR6. Now, if you guys have seen any of my Glock 43 videos, you know that I run my Streamlight TLR6 on my Glock 43 constantly. Now I'll go ahead and safety check my Glock 43, and as you guys can hopefully see there, it's a little darker in there. It is empty, I assure you that. There's an empty magazine in it. But guys, this is the first time I've had this light off of my Glock 43 in, heck, months. I haven't had to change the batteries, which this takes two CR 1 1/3 N batteries. They're a little less common than your AAA, of course, even your CR 123s, but they can be had online for pretty cheap. Now, this light has a couple more features than the rest. It does have a momentary on feature. It also has a steady on feature, and has ambidextrous controls right here and that button on the other side. And if you press them both at the same time, you can throw this light into a couple different patterns. Like right here has a laser. Now, I don't really use the laser. I know some people like the laser. Right here is a light and laser. If you guys can see the laser, it's kind of hard to pick up. Or just the light, which I run it just the light. So you use these two buttons, throw it into whatever setting you like, and then click one side of it and it comes off. Now this light is held on with 3 little Allen wrench screws, which I've never ever had trouble with this light coming loose. I do use just a little bit of Loctite, not enough to keep it on there. And actually guys, when I first bought this light, I kept it on my Glock 43, of course. I went to take it off and I had one of the screws strip out. Now I was able to get it out. I contacted Streamlight and they sent me a bunch of replacement screws, no questions asked. So their customer service is through the roof, and from what I know, Surefire's customer service is also really, really great. Now, when I first bought the TLR6, guys, it was originally only for like the Glock 43, Glock 26, I believe, a couple guns that were, non-railed guns, but they do make the TLR6 now as a railed light. I'm just not sure how much I would want that. Yes, it is compact, but guys, this light right here is a 100 lumen light, which, like I mentioned, it gets the job done in a self-defense situation or even home defense as far as in the house. I trust it. I like it. I've tossed it around quite a bit. I have shot thousands of rounds through my Glock 43 with this light attached, and I've never had a problem. Now, you're going to get 1 hour of runtime out of these two CR 1 1/3 batteries, which isn't horrible. I probably change these batteries once every 3 to 4 months. I do a little bit of night shooting, not a whole lot, and this light really doesn't ever come off my Glock 43. But for the price, guys, this is coming in around $100. For the Glock 43 or non-railed guns, I think it is a great option. I do really like it. Just when it comes to lights, just like any other part out there, it really just depends on what your needs are. All of these lights serve a really great purpose. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, whatever. It just really comes down to how much you want to spend, first of all, size, secondly, and how bright, you want your light to be. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of long. I just had a lot to say about all these lights. So please like this video, share, sub to the channel if you haven't already, guys, and have a good night.